So we had a question from Stanley, one of our viewers, and he noticed that Dr. Markison has mentioned diet frequently in regard to repetitive strain injury. And I'm sure he's wondering what sort of diet is good for repetitive strain injury, if such a thing exists. But also he wanted to know if taking a generic multivitamin supplement such as Centrum on a regular basis would help with deficiency in certain minerals or vitamins. So here to explain is Dr. Robert Markison, our chief medical expert. Welcome back, Dr. Markison. And what can you tell us about diet and vitamins?
First, a disclaimer, I have no financial interest in anything I'm about to discuss. Never have, never will, never plan to. And so I'm just looking at the human body on a water planet that's 72% water. And we may have originated from an aqueous environment, which means if we run dry, we run into trouble. So the diet has to be essentially moist. Now, with that as intro, I personally don't eat any solid food before 4 or 5 p.m. So the reason I don't do that is I don't want to rehydrate food and take blood flow away from brain and other vital parts, just chomping away with the digestive machinery. I don't say everybody should be me. I just say that I respect the fact that we're on a water planet. Our bodies are majority water. Our cells like water. We need to rinse the tissues. People will wake up, have a piece of toast, or try to rehydrate some cereal or some nuts or seeds, whatever it is. Sounds good maybe, but doesn't work for many people. So stay moist to begin with. Second, the vitamins issue. Centrum is not a bad brand for B vitamins and some other stuff, but you need to take liquid vitamin D3 because gel caps and capsules are poorly absorbed. The rheumatology literature says keep your blood hydroxy vitamin D levels in the ideal range of 50 to 80 nanograms per ml for best function of all systems. Vitamin D receptors are present on every one of your cells. So it's more than a vitamin. And it also co-regulates 5% of the human genome. So it's a decoder. It's also involved in processing T and B cells for immunity in and out of pandemics. And so D is no joke. So liquid D, here's just one of many brands, but what I do, since I like to make my own little coffee cup, here's a little baby coffee cup. And so I'll take my little liquid, then I'll go boom, 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 boom. I'll take 3 to 5 drops, AKA 3,000 to 5,000 international units. Little swirl, skull. But there's another additive for anybody who's taking statins, because statins shut down CoQ10 synthesis. CoQ10, coenzyme Q10 is the rate-limiting bioenzyme in the chain reaction to make raw energy. And so what that means is that you're trying to make raw energy in your 3 trillion cells, 86 billion brain cells. You take a statin, it shuts down cholesterol biosynthesis, shuts down energy creation, so that what happens next is that you end up with an energy failure in the interest of good cholesterol and lipid numbers. And so I'm not a statin taker, but I have many patients who have to work, never will retire. And so they put 200 to 300 milligrams in their little coffee, maybe with a little vitamin D, and you've got the beautiful tonic, whether it's white tea, green tea, water, who cares? Oh, that's good. I'm restored. Liquid vitamin D3, CoQ10 if you're a statin consumer. And then, if that wasn't enough, you have to consider your microbiome, which is your best friend. Because your microbiome is your bacterial population that's on all surfaces of the body, but particularly the intestines. If you have a happy microbiome, then your body's happy, meaning good species of bacteria, plentiful, because they make thyroid hormone, they make insulin to reduce insulin resistance at a cellular level. They are your best friends if they're in the right populations and volume. You take probiotics, of which there are many brands, they should contain 45 to 60 billion colony-forming units. And you take a capsule each morning. Some will take a capsule at night, that's variable. But they need something to eat. So you want enough fiber in your food, which is plenty of salads and that sort of thing, fresh vegetables, probiotics. So that's the interior, that's your population of friends, microbiome. bacteria, which contain 10 times the DNA that we do. But also, you want to take a diet that's low in gluten. And that generally means low in lectins, lectins. Lectins break down the intercellular junctions between your monolayer of intestinal cells, permitting leakage of inflammatory mediators out into weak targets, brain to fingers and toes. And so you don't want that to happen. So I've been essentially grain-free for decades. Monsanto started to hybridize wheat in 1961, then 14 chromosomes. Now it's up to 44. You and I have 46. So it's a complex macromolecule, best to be avoided. Even the best organic Emmer-type wheat is still a difficult digestion problem. Some of the other grains, like the Minoans cultivated quinoa, that's probably okay. But if you go grain-free, you have a moist diet, you're taking probiotics, you're taking liquid vitamin D3, taking CoQ10, if you're aging faster than you want, and or taking statins or other medications that challenge mitochondrial bioenergetics, you're going to be a fit and hardy specimen.
It's good that you mentioned diet too. When I was studying nutrition, it was emphasized that you really can't replace getting the nutrients from food because they have all those little enzymes and worker helper things that help you digest the food and send it where it needs to go.
Well, I agree. You know, I mean, the microbiologists are having a field day now with a focus on the microbiome, thinking that pesky little bacteria invented human beings so that they could have a vehicle so they could fly around the world and watch some TV.
I think we can do better than that. I think these treasures that we have, these gifts that we have, really, sometimes we don't appreciate them until they're gone or damaged or out of repair. And then we think, it's really a miracle that I can walk, breathe, digest food. All these systems are operating without me thinking about them. It's amazing.
I agree. You don't have to have a genius IQ to realize that Hippocrates was right. Food is fuel, food is medicine.
Yes. So on that note, I hope everyone will take heed to their diet, and we will be back soon with another wonderful episode of Repetitive Strain Injury YouTube. So subscribe or stay tuned. Thank you, Dr. Markison.
Always a pleasure.